A courthouse is designed to project safety and order. This is a Bronx courthouse, a heavily trafficked civic space where the community comes to see the law enforced and justice administered. But in June, that expectation of safety was shattered. Broad daylight gave way to gunfire just outside the building, requiring an immediate lockdown. A shooting in such a high-profile, secure location creates an immediate vacuum of information. Witnesses scatter, and the public is left wondering how an attack could happen right on the steps of the legal system. The NYPD rapidly flooded the zone. Officers cordoned off the streets and staged perimeters to secure the scene, transitioning the area from an active threat to an evidence-gathering operation. When violence reaches the literal halls of justice, it breaches the community's most basic expectation of civic safety. The pressure to find the shooter and restore order is instantaneous. Investigators soon secured their first major breakthrough. They identified 20-year-old Chase Lackard as the primary suspect and the alleged triggerman in the daytime shooting. As detectives pulled at the threads, the profile of the case escalated. The evidence pointed away from a lone gunman scenario, suggesting that Chase had help planning the attack. That help allegedly came from his own family, specifically his mother, Jennifer Lackard. She was a high-ranking official within local law enforcement. She served as the Mount Vernon Police Department's Deputy Commissioner for Wellness and Community Affairs. Her professional mandate focused on protecting vulnerable people and improving community welfare. Now she was under arrest for allegedly orchestrating a violent crime. When the person tasked with improving community wellness is charged with orchestrating a shooting, the investigation moves beyond a single suspect to examine the integrity of the department itself. The prosecution's core theory is laid out in the charging documents. They allege the Lackard family operated as a coordinated criminal unit to pull off the attack. Legally, a conspiracy charge requires prosecutors to prove multiple parties reached a specific agreement to commit a crime, turning individual intent into collective action. The indictment alleges that Jennifer Lackard and her husband actively coordinated the details of the attack with their son, long before any weapon was drawn outside the courthouse. Investigators mapped the timeline into two phases. The first involves premeditation, the planning and logistics, leading directly into the execution phase. By connecting these communication nodes, prosecutors aim to prove this was a calculated, synchronized operation, not a spontaneous act. It is crucial to note these timelines and structural details represent the prosecution's working legal theory. At this stage, they remain entirely unproven allegations. A premeditated conspiracy planned within a single household creates a deeply insulated criminal structure. Familial bonds make it difficult for outside investigators to penetrate the network or secure witness testimony, compared to isolated crimes of passion. Immediately following the chaos at the courthouse, authorities say the family fled the jurisdiction. They scattered outward, attempting to evade the inevitable police dragnet. The manhunt eventually caught up with Chase Lackard. He was taken into custody and has been ordered held without bail. Police also apprehended Jennifer Lackard. Following her arrest, the department took immediate administrative action, terminating her position as deputy commissioner. The indictment also names Chase's father. While his wife and son are in custody, he remains a fugitive, having not yet been arrested at the time of the report. This leaves the legal process in a volatile state. A conspiracy case requires examining the connections between all parties, and with one key member still missing, the full picture remains unresolved. The focus now shifts from the streets of the Bronx into the courtroom, where the prosecution's evidentiary claims will be put to the test. Both mother and son are facing severe charges of attempted murder, which carry steep potential prison sentences if convicted. Prosecutors face a unique hurdle. They must build an airtight case against a former law enforcement official who possesses high-level insider knowledge of how crimes are investigated. Someone with a deep understanding of police procedures knows exactly what detectives look for. They understand how digital footprints are tracked and how forensic evidence is processed, making them uniquely equipped to mask their tracks. A trial involving a former official tests the internal mechanisms of the court, determining if the same rules applied to the public can be successfully enforced against those who once upheld them. The broader fallout from this case extends well beyond the courtroom. Allegations of this magnitude against a wellness commissioner directly affect the community's trust in regional policing. The Mount Vernon Police Department's rapid decision to fire Jennifer Lackard was a necessary step for institutional preservation, aiming to distance the department from the scandal and manage the public optics. Yet all of this public reaction must be weighed against a foundational legal principle that governs the upcoming trials: the presumption of innocence. Despite the severity of the conspiracy and attempted murder charges, Chase, Jennifer, and the unarrested father are legally innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. These allegations expose severe vulnerabilities in public trust and civic safety. But final accountability and the definitive truth of what happened outside that courthouse now rests entirely in the hands of a jury.